Thank you for joining us today for Jennifer Schaus and Associates in our Webinar Wednesday program. We are coming to you live from Washington, D.C. Our webinars are every Wednesday and are provided complimentary. They're recorded and can be downloaded from our website and YouTube channel, which now holds over 300 of our government contracting webinars. In the interest of time, we do not take questions. So if you have questions for our speaker, we will have his information on the last slide of the presentation today. A special thanks to our educational sponsor, the National Veteran Small Business Coalition, for making these webinars possible. The NVSBC is the largest nonprofit trade association for veterans. Please visit their website for more information. And now a little bit about us. We work with U.S. federal government contractors, including product, service, and software firms. Our services range from market analysis reports to contract vehicles and compliance. More information is on our website. We will be hosting a virtual conference on hot topics in government contracting on June 23rd. Please register using the link in this slide. We also have opportunities for your organization to advertise in our newsletter. We now reach over 19,600 subscribers, and this includes both contractors and government. Contact us for pricing information with the email shown on your screen. And now to introduce our speaker, Skip Blackburn. Welcome, Skip. We are glad to have you here with us today, and I'll turn the floor over to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And welcome, everybody. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about pipeline management from an executive point of view, and just talk about some different things to look at and think about during that process. You can go next. And next slide, please. Thank you. So just a little bit about us as well. We're experts in government contracting support, and we have two pieces to our business. One is we've developed the only federated software designed as an executive BD lifecycle software system called CaptureExec, and we sell that all throughout the U.S. to all government contractors. Next, please. And in addition, we have over 75 expert consultants, both pre-BMP and BMP support, to support every aspect of your company as you work to sell and win government contracts. So we're a full scale organization to support government contractors specifically. Next, please. So the question is, again, from an executive point of view, what should you be looking at on a regular basis to manage both the health of your pipeline and the health of your business? Obviously, the health of the pipeline is important, projected revenues, so that you can see where you're going and how you're going to get there. Activity of your sales team to make sure they're doing the same repetitive processes on every opportunity, progressing and shaping of the deals so that you can make them more winnable. Your PWin score, gate reviews, and those are really important to pull the plug on deals sooner so you don't spend acquisition costs that you don't need to. Budget spend, how much you're spending on every deal and how much money you have to spend over the year, and fixing things if it's broken. And that's all. These are really important for executives to spend time on a regular basis to make their business as strong as possible. Next, please. So if you do those things, how does that help your company be bigger, smarter, better, faster? Well, it improves winnability across every deal that you have in your pipeline. Your revenue goes up because you're winning more deals. And you do that by losing less deals, right? Pulling the plug sooner on opportunities that you're already destined to lose. And decreasing your cost of acquisition, both your pre-BMP, which is a smaller dollar amount, but your BMP costs are large dollar amounts. Again, by pulling the plug sooner on opportunities, you're already not in a position to win. And it's a really important concept. And create better opportunities, better deals for every win. And the point there is, if you decide you're going to bid on price to win a deal, and you keep lowering your price and eventually you win a deal, that may not be a great deal for you to deliver over the next 5 years, because you have to put cheaper, less experienced people in place, and that could affect your CPARs or your business process or your delivery process. So if you win better deals, deals you've already shaped, deals the government loves you, deals you understand better, those deals are going to be better for you to manage the delivery on. Next, please. So what is a pipeline? So just a pipeline is a list of your opportunities staggered across different people, different divisions, different stages, so that you can anticipate, predict the future process of what's coming in terms of predictable revenue and predictable delivery expectations, so that you can have the right personnel at the right time for the right costs. So it's really important to have any type of system, whether it's a spreadsheet or a software package of some type, that truly manages the aspect of listing deals and giving you the ability to shape those deals and measure those deals, whether it's by PWin or by a deal shaping calculation, being able to monitor and measure that process. Next, please. So an opportunity, if you open up a deal, in certain software, it displays different ways. We break down opportunities into smaller summary cards, so it's easy to manage what you're doing for each aspect at the right time during that shaping process. And it's really all about being in front of the government on a regular basis, finding out where the pain points are, what their activities are, what they're trying to accomplish, so that you're in control of shaping the process, whether you're shaping it to an IDIQ that you own, where you have less competition or better pricing than your competition, or doing a great job at a black hat process, so that you understand who's bidding against you, how they're bidding, and how you should bid in response to that. But it's all about collecting the appropriate data, well, again, whether it's in a spreadsheet or a software system or on scraps of piece of paper. What matters is that you're meeting with the government and you're shaping the process. Next, please. So I've been doing this a long time, and 30 years I've been out doing complex captures, whether I owned a business, worked for a company, ran a business. It was all about managing the expectations of the personnel, and it was always the 10-to-1 rule, right? If you wanted to win 10 deals this year, how many deals do you need in the pipeline? How many deals do you need to bid to win 10? And the old school rule was always you needed 10x in your pipeline to expect to win 10. So you break that down. If you do X wins, whatever that is, and your submits need to be X by 10, your captures need to be twice your submits, your qualifieds 3x of your captures, and your prospects 2.5, to make sure there's enough in the top of the funnel to run your business for the next several years. And that's a constant process. Next slide, please. So when you're looking at 10x, if you need 10 wins, then you need 100 submits, 200 captures, 600 qualifieds, and 1,500 prospects in your pipeline, so that you can manage those through to win those 10. Next slide, please. We're going to do a little math exercise just so that you can see how this works. If you come up with some cost factor for acquisition, cost of acquisition, I put a fairly low number in at 15,000 for pre-BMP and 110,000 for BMP on a single deal. In my experience over the last 30 years, I've spent, at certain times running a must-win complex capture, I've spent $1.7 million in BMP costs to win that deal. So we had almost a $2 million cost of acquisition, and we needed to make sure we got out of it the volume that we needed. But this is a very low estimate, assuming that you did some outside support for B&P and you had some travel expenses, but everything else was done in-house with covered costs. Next, please. So if we assume that our revenue on one deal is $50 million as an average, and your gross margin at 8% is $4 million, then our 10 wins would be $500 million in revenue, and our gross margin would be $40 million that we get after expenses. The next, please. So finally, if our gross margin is $4 million on a deal and our cost of acquisition is $125,000, then our gross margin that we receive is $40 million over the 10 deals we win. Our cost of acquisition is $12.5 million for those 100 submits we had to do to win those 10. And you can see our margin seems great, $27.5 million, great job, but our cost of acquisition is 31%, which is just a tremendous weight coming right off your bottom line trying to secure these 10 wins. Most companies plan for this. Most of the larger companies around the Beltway are less concerned about what the cost of acquisition is, and they're more concerned about what their revenue is to match their quarterly street calls, that they spend this amount of money on a regular basis to manage their process. Next, please. So what our customers have been telling us, as they use more sophisticated software and help them get rid of deals sooner, that instead of a 10-to-1 ratio, they're getting closer to a 4 or 5-to-1 ratio, which is reducing their cost of acquisition significantly. So next, please. So again, as our example spins down, our 4 million turns into 40 million with our 10 wins. If we're down to a 5-to-1 ratio, we're only spending $6.25 million for cost of acquisition, which improves our margin and reduces our cost of acquisition down to 15%, which is a much more reasonable expenditure to win $40 million and retain that margin in our company as an investment for the future. So it's really important to steer away from that 10-to-1 rule by better managing your pipeline and your process. Next, please. So again, if you better manage a pipeline, then if you don't manage a pipeline, you're wasting money. So if you better manage it, then that's really important. So the question becomes, how do you fix this spend problem in that process? So next, please. And again, we've kind of chatted around this. The biggest way you can win more and spend less getting there is to kill deals sooner. So you stop bidding on opportunities that you're already set up to lose. If you haven't talked to the government, if you haven't done all the things you need to do, you're already going to lose that deal. Next, please. So a couple examples of ways to do that. If you use a spreadsheet or have other manual processes, make sure you're computing a shaping score for every deal. Really important to know across all your deals that you're managing for your sales team or your organization, where each one stands and where you are in the acquisition process. So create some type of repeatable, scorable process on how well your capture team, your sales team is doing, shaping the government's opinion of what your company can do, how you would compete, strengths and weaknesses of you and your competitors. All those things are vitally important to convey and convince the government of on every deal. And then again, it comes back to stop bidding on deals you've already lost. right? If you're not shaping the deal, if you don't know anything about the government, what their interests are, what their pain is, what their budget is, who's got the weight on their shoulders, I guarantee you your competitors do. And if they're shaping the deal and you're not, you've already lost. So it's really important for you to keep track of that and develop a regular process for your sales team, a regular set of questions, a repeatable set of questions, so that they can go out to each government customer for each opportunity and ask the same leading questions to find out from the CO, from the KO, from the PMs, and from the funding sources. All those different parts of the organization all need to be asked a similar repeatable set of questions so that you can truly understand what reality is from the customer standpoint and how you can win them over so that when they read the responses, your response is the one that resonates. You also, of course, want to compute a PWin. And again, it's really important. Most companies in the past, it was all a manual process, and the sales team would just self-evaluate each deal and say, gosh, we probably have a 10% chance of winning, or we have a 98% chance of winning. All completely speculative and off the cuff. There were no rules in place on how to do that. So it's important, again, as you run a company or run a sales organization, to have a way to repeatably compute automatically a PWin score for every deal, so that you understand if you have a low PWin or a low shaping score, get out of that deal, stop spending money, move on to a deal where you have a better opportunity to win. Next, please. So again, if you're tracking things in a spreadsheet or in a software system, like we've shown here, just make sure you have some type of scoring mechanism for how well each deal is shaped and what the PWin is for the deal, so that your company can compare apples to apples, deal to deal, and know exactly which deals to continue with and which deals to stop spending money on. Next, please. Again, in our software, we map out all your wins and losses so that you can get a scatter chart that predicts what your percentage should be at each different gate review time, so that you can better monitor and manage what that number is for your company. We had a customer of ours that did it manually back in the old days. They went back 3 years, analyzed every single deal in the system they won or lost, what the shaping percentage was, what the PWin percentage was, when they won or lost, and they mapped it all. And when they brought up their map, they determined that if the shaping percentage was 65% or greater, they won 85% of those deals. And if it was 64% or lower, they lost 75% of those deals. So it became quickly clear that that shaping percentage truly dictated their win-loss ratio. And so at gate review time, they pull the plug on deals that aren't a high enough score, regardless of how excited the sales team is that this is an absolute done deal, great deal, and we can't lose. So again, it's really important to manage and monitor these types of metrics on a regular basis so that you can improve your business. Next, please. Another example of how to improve your PWin is to fix what's broken, right? Very, very few companies do this well. And what's important is that you track why you're losing deals. I worked for one of the bigs around the Beltway, running one of their organizations. And, I met with the CEO when we first got there and asked the question. He said, hey, we bid 5,000 deals a year. Do we know why we're losing? And the answer that came back from all the support people around the table was, it's not ever tracked. We don't know why we lose. We only know that we win enough to do what we need to do. So it really hit home that without tracking why you're losing, you have no way of fixing what's broken. So if you lose every deal because of a low technical rating from the government, you can fix that, but you have to know that's why you're losing. So you can get more compelling writers to make that bit easier for the government to read. You can stop bidding on technologies that you can't prove to the government that you're good at doing with past performance or other issues. You can buy M&A in a company that has experts on that technology, so that you end up with that experience and that expertise. And then you would stop losing because of low technical rating. Same for non-competitive pricing. If you're losing because of price, there's many different levers you can pull to win those deals. And again, it's really important for you to manage that on a regular basis. So tracking, again, and whether you're in a spreadsheet or in a software package, make sure it can track why you're winning and why you're losing. Next, please. So again, if you have software, you can manage those peaks and see why you're winning, why you're losing, and fix each quarter, fix why you're losing. And guess what? You'll stop losing more and you'll start winning instead of losing, which is really important. Next, please. So, how do you improve your shaping in PWin? Well, the important thing is you must be in front of the government. You can't, the old adage is, if the first time you read about this opportunity on GovCon, you've already lost, right? By the time GovCon hears about it and gets it updated and all that, all your competitors have already been out in front of the government for the last 2 years, shaping and offering them support, becoming their best friends, and giving them all the reasons why they should pick them and why they should not pick your company. If you're in front of the government, you'll always know when the pulse and temperature changes, because you're always in front of the people that are making the decision, the people on the source selection board, the people that'll be managing the projects going forward. All those people are vitally important to be in front of on a regular basis. And that's crucial to solving these issues, is to be in front of the government. Again, the commanding officers or SESs, the KOs or COs that are running the contracts, the PM team that'll be managing the winning contractor and the implementation and process, funding source that drives how the receiving organization has to think and feel about their deliveries. All those, and of course the source selection board folks. So all those different aspects, your sales team needs to be in front of on a weekly basis to make sure you're the company they remember on a regular basis. Next, please. So that's our presentation for today. Again, it really revolves around key issues of being in front of the customer, measuring how well shaping's going, measuring your PWin, both on a repeatable process, and then monitoring that in a spreadsheet or in software, so that you can analytically, day by day, measure the health of your business and measure the health of your pipeline, and run your company or your division or your sales team in that perspective. And you will significantly improve your wins, improve your revenue, decrease your cost of acquisition, and stop losing deals you've already lost. So that's my soapbox. I appreciate everybody's time today, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
Thank you, Skip, for a great presentation and sharing your time with us. And thank you to everyone who joined us. The recording will be on our website and YouTube channel within the next 24 hours. I just want to remind everyone about our virtual conference on hot topics in government contracting on June 23rd. You can register with the link shown on the screen. Please join us this Friday as we cover each part of the FAR, and join us next Wednesday for more hot topics in federal contracting.